Tell me, what is the progress?
Dylan's water started moving small amounts that very night, showing less residual when we would pull it before we could give him more water. By 48 hours, he was back to his normal. So yes, that was tremendous for all of us.
Well, I imagine that takes a lot of stress off of his system.
Yes,
that working better.
Let me just tell you about his pulse and his blood pressure. Both have gone down, which is good for him.
Which will decrease seizure activity.
Yes. Also, we have not seen any, of course, seizure activity. The first couple of days when we went to Brooks Rehab after we started the treatment, he really was able to stay awake throughout the whole treatments. Now, I know we're going to go through cycles, and this is what I want to talk to you about today. Now, the times that I took him to rehab, he really was awake the whole time, was with the speech therapist, swallowing so very well when he would eat his pudding. Today, his mom took him to try to get his augmented device that he could speak with us through his eyes on a computer to communicate with us. He slept the whole time. She couldn't get him awake. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I mean, if I had to do one thing at a time, this would be the very next. Just like you gave us the gastroparesis protocols and specific points, can we do something for this wake up stimulation? And where do we do it and for how long? Just that's what my next thing I want to work on.
This is so fun. We just need to document this and put it public, though, because so many other people are going to have these same questions, huh?
You're welcome to do it. I think it's perfectly fine.
Well, happy to do that because it helps so many other people. But let's talk about, so huge changes in the gastroparesis. That is wonderful. If you need to wake up somebody, we almost go through a little bit of the same process. We will start by scraping at the feet.
Okay.
And then we will do that just, if you have a couple of minutes, we'll scrape at the feet and try and just send these shock waves of wake up into the system, right?
The night that I did that at 6 o'clock to him, he did not fall asleep till 12:30.
Yeah, I was going to say it's sometimes better to do that a little bit earlier in the day or to know when you want to do that, because it's like giving the nervous system a boost of energy.
So we would do that on the highest frequency, just with it up on, say, 10.
Yeah.
No blue, green, or red.
Not at first, just for the scraping, always typically the highest level. Now,
okay, I've not done that to him. So, okay, so the feet.
So the feet.
He did not want to get between his toes.
Yeah, the toes are so sensitive.
I have another friend here with me who I believe we're going to be working with it on as well. She's sitting next to me.
Well, she's welcome to join the picture.
Come around here. Her name is Victoria. She suffers from Lyme's disease that she got when she was a little girl. Do you know much about Lyme's?
Yeah, we have several doctors that treat Lyme's that do a lot with our tool. In fact, one of the doctors actually has Lyme's, and he's a world-renowned expert on Lyme's, and he's been doing experimentation with Lyme's patients and our device in his clinic in California.
Is it Dr. Ross?
What was his first name?
I think William or Michael.
I think I'm sorry, I don't remember last names very well, but I one of those sounds like it was him.
He's written a lot of books and he does a lot of webinars.
Yeah, I could go back and pull up our video, but I haven't talked to him in a couple of months here. But yeah, that's we do have some of the premier doctors that are trying to understand why this is such a great energy management tool and how it can change the central nervous system, which helps that autoimmune component quite a bit. So glad to be able to visit with both of you. Thank you, Victoria.
So I wanted to tell you, just me treating Dylan with me getting it through my hands, my brain fog that I have in the morning time is, I haven't had it since I started treating him, just because I was treating him and I was getting the vibrations through my hands. I thought it was just because maybe I was resting better, but I'm beginning to realize that it's this Rezzimax that's doing it.
It's a pretty cool little tool. And, you know, people say, why in the heck is that thing so much money? But, you know, it took an awful lot to create it and to create the frequencies in a way that work on the nervous system in the way that it does. But Paige, one of the things that'll help enhance your experience while working with him is if you hum along with it. It just,
I do.
yeah, I was going to say that's a natural because it tells your brain, hey, this is what helps us line up. So let's go back to your other question, though. First of all, about how to give him a wake-up call or boost up his energy when you need to.
Right.
So spending a couple of minutes at the feet,
Yep.
doing all the scraping and around the toes and everything, up the legs, up the spine.
Okay.
Almost what you would do with an infant when you were trying to rouse them so they stay awake to feed, you know?
Okay.
So you would do a number of times up the spine, then go back to the feet, turn it on red algorithm.
Go back to feet
Mm-hmm.
and put it on the red wake up algorithm.
Yep.
Okay.
Run it for a couple of cycles, it might be 2 or 3 cycles, so that he's getting that, you know, that wake up takes a little bit because there's a lot of brain chemistry that has to change around. And so you need that to run for a little bit longer when we're going into the wake up cycle there.
And this is strictly on the feet, the 2 to 3 red cycles.
Yeah. And if you can get the tongs into the arch of the feet and get the big toe in contact with the wings, that
Absolutely.
delivers that up the very best.
Okay.
Same thing, by the way, same thing for Lyme's and a lot of our other conditions. We're trying to do that same balancing of the central nervous system.
Okay.
So after you do that, make sure that you run it on a couple cycles of the green because that's the speed up. That's what keeps that's what keeps it balanced and sped up.
Okay.
This is one of the things that our individuals with MS, we suggest the same thing because it will give them 4 to 6 to 8 hours of alertness and you know, their nervous system staying up without having to do that artificially, which always comes at a very high price, a big crash. This doesn't happen. It doesn't create the crash like we see with the medication-induced energy spurt.
Okay. All right. 2 to 3 on the red, 2 to 3 on the green. So I know everybody would be different, but we could look for up to 6 hours of alertness with this.
Well, I don't know exactly what his case will be, but that's what we're seeing in a lot of people. And here's my best guess on why. When you put a medication such as Tylenol in the system, it's typically going to be about 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours that it kind of, you know, helps it feel better, right? I think that the nervous system goes on these normal 4 to 6 hour cycles. And from everything that I've read about, you know, the brainwave cycles and everything else, these cycles are something that we kind of have inherent in us. And from my experience, the body is not designed to stay on high alert for long periods of time. 4 to 6 hours, followed by some changes. I mean, I think that's part of the reason we've designed our work days typically to be, 3 or 4 hours, take a break, 3 or 4 hours, take a break and go to something else, dinner, etc. Go to sleep. Those are normal cycles. And that's what I see with our device. When we help accelerate the energy for somebody, it's not a good idea to keep it accelerated for 18 to 24 hours. It's
Okay.
And
absolutely.
But
that's what we Americans are trying to do to ourselves, and we're killing ourselves.
It's not good. But those cycles seem to be deep natural cycles. And so if we can give you 4 to 6 hours of a stronger, consistent energy, I'm super excited with that.
I would be too. And so would his mother. So would his mother. So.
Well, and it helps him to be able to learn better and be able to retain better and be able to build those building blocks that help him function, help him improve his functioning over time.
Yes, we did use it on his arm when we were doing the OT the other day. We also put it on his legs when we were doing PT, when we were doing the sit to stands. Is there anything, I think the next thing would be to calm him down at night when we need him to sleep well before an appointment like today. We need to make sure he goes to sleep because he didn't go to sleep.
Yeah. And part of you guys don't even realize that in part of it, he plays off of your chemistry. You guys are excited about what he was going to potentially be doing today and how it could help. And he feeds off of that too, which wires his system. And so one of the best things that we have found to do is just reverse the process.
Okay.
Use it up like below the chin and attach to the chest. That one that's on page 8 or 7 or 8 and has the picture there. The one underneath the chin is a great calming area.
Okay.
And if you'll put it there and just do the reverse, either put it on only the white or only the blue modes so that it's very, very slow waves. Probably the blue is the very, very best because it really slows things down and puts it into preparing to yawn and getting ready to sleep. That's the one that my wife does. If she's wired and can't sleep at night, she'll put it on there. Sometimes I'll come in and find she's asleep with it sitting there.
Oh, wow.
So it just is a great calmer for the central nervous system. And you recognize this. These are clenchers. These are openers. We're just going into the communication system with the brain that is best at de-escalating, which are relaxed jaw and calming the central nervous system, breathing, which is encouraged when we put it attached to the upper breastbone there.
Okay. So you would just keep it on the blue or the white and do around the head.
I would, exactly.
Okay. And it doesn't really matter for how long, just when you just relaxing. Okay.
And you will find that typically is a great protocol to just unwind the system.
Okay. All right. Have you had any of the his eye movements? Sometimes his eyes are not moving together. I know this is because of his brain injury. My dad just recently experienced cranial 6 nerve palsy. And sometimes Dylan's eyes can go different directions. Is there anything, a specific point or spot There's a specific program for he does have nystagmus and all of that too, but I'm just wondering if we can help him. We don't know exactly what he is seeing. We know he does see, and we know that he does read.
So one of the better activities would be, and you can do this with him in his chair, have him leaning back against the device. I don't know if you saw a recent video that we posted of a post-concussion.
I did.
Did you see
I watched it.
You can
Yes.
actually do that with him, but have something that you bring his attention to on the
Okay.
wall.
Okay.
I want you to look at the fireplace. I want you to look at the family picture, and you can actually help take his head through those rotations and
Mhm.
and encourage the looking. You can say, okay, look down at the dog, look up at the ceiling. So you're trying to get those motions while you're working on his occipital area with the resonance. So remember, our device is just simply an accelerator.
Mhm.
So if he's got more energy flowing in that area, it's a little bit easier for him to help make those motions happen.
The PTA who worked with him yesterday, who I assist in working with the deal, and asked me, said, his rotation is so much better. What are you doing? Because we could actually, his tone was so decreased, we could turn him from side to side where he can look and move from side to side. So that was big. I mean, that's really big.
How long have you been a PT assistant?
I graduated in 1995.
So I graduated in 1994 from PT school. And does it not blow you away that you're seeing such changes in such a short amount of time?
Yes, it does. That's why even when I was thinking about my own brain fog, I said, no, it's not the machine. I haven't done it to myself, but I thought, I'm doing it to myself when I treat him and I hold it in my hand. So yeah.
It's quite a fun device to be able to play with your understanding and background of the anatomical systems, because then you start thinking, okay, what do I do to accelerate? What do I do to downregulate? And this is the thought process that I go through with everybody. But it's so fun to have a tool that can help you do exactly what you're needing to do with them. Either
Yes.
calm them down or fire them up.
So we want to do this on Victoria today, and I am scared to death.
Oh, shouldn't be scared at all. Can I watch you do it?
Sure. Victoria's mom is actually.
Hey. And I thought I was just having a conversation with Paige, and look at all these pretty ladies I get to talk to.
So she does go through seizures every afternoon. I have her medicine ready.
Oh, goodness.
But she has some significant brain fog over these past several days where all she can do is sleep. She feels extremely fatigued.
Okay.
She wants some energy.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do?
But there is a significant problem here in that she's got her nervous system so on edge that if it'll flip into a seizure, we have to be really careful with how we progress that.
I know.
And I think I told you the other day about, I've watched me throw people into seizures. That's not a scary thing, but just understanding what is happening can help you take a person back out of that if they happen to go down that path. But there are a few things. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, maybe we should move to the couch.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we try any techniques, I want you in a place where you're not going to hurt, and just in case, I don't want you flopping right there.
We're going to the couch. I'm taking you with me, Sharon. Don't look at my house. It's quite a mess right now.
Houses are houses. We live in them.
That's the truth.
The
Where
only
would you
show
like me
houses,
to?
the
Where
only
would
show
you like?
houses are really set up just so that people will buy them. They don't live in them.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the, like, I think one of these documents-
Okay, that looks good right there. Now, first of all, because she's a little bit, what do you call, fragile,
Yes.
I would not do anything more than start at the feet.
Okay. So we're going to do this like this, right?
Turn it the other way, 180 degrees, so that that can go into the arches. Yep.
Am I going to use a?
I'll say that again. She had one question.
What's your question, Cindy?
I was just confirming that you're aware that it's a Lyme and not another type of seizure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is a Lyme related seizure. He
Yeah.
is very, I just want you to know, tell Cindy what you do with the Lyme's clinic. You're the doctor.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
I work with a number of doctors that work exclusively with Lyme's clients. And this is a process that that we're very, very careful with, because we know what it's like. This is not a what do you call it? This is not like an epileptic seizure. This is like what they would call a pseudo seizure, but it's still the same.
Got it right like that.
She says, you're the first one who's ever said it and got it right.
But it's still the same in how the nervous system reacts. So I'm very aware of what this is like, and I can take you through it very carefully. I can also help you turn it off if we happen to kick her into one.
I'm excited to see what this does.
Well, let's get doing it. Victoria's excited. Let's just do it.
Okay.
Mom, can you see?
Can you see Victoria?
Do you want us here? Just flip it.
So, okay, I've got it turned backwards.
Good. So go ahead and turn it on just the lowest setting, just the base level. Just turn it on at its base level. No, don't push any of the buttons, just the base level.
Got it.
And let's just start at the feet. You understand that positioning?
Just here like this, or clip it on?
Both feet. If we can do both feet at the same time, that will help her brain start getting a balanced calibration. Immediately, I need you to start humming. Put that tongue in between the teeth.
Put your tongue in between your teeth.
Good. And our job here is, and if you had a pulse oximeter, this would be a great time to just kind of watch what happens.
She has it on her watch.
Excellent. What's her pulse ox and pulse rate at right now?
What's your pulse? I want you to know she's been diagnosed with POTS as well.
Mm-hmm. Not uncommon to have her whole nervous system is kind of reversed.
She is at 100% of oxygen saturation.
Perfect. What's the pulse rate?
She's looking.
It's like 107.
107.
Okay, let's watch that and see if it starts going down as you begin humming. And just keep that humming process going, slow humming out. This is so fun to do. This is like battlefield medicine here.
Yeah.
So just relax and keep a watch on that, a literal watch. Our goal here is to bring that heart rate down. If we can get it down under 100, that's wonderful. And Victoria, how are you feeling so far? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Good.
She's down to 94.
Excellent. That is what we're looking for, okay? Those are signs that her central nervous system is saying, yes, thank you. I'm getting down into a better range. Okay. So let's go ahead and bump it up 3 or 4 notches. Let's see if what that does to the heart rate. If it feels like it's too much for you, you can just kick it off, right?
I'm watching her watch. It's dropping.
Perfect.
Oh my. It might help for him to know about the heart rate thing.
I told him you had POTS.
Oh.
Yeah, so she'll sometimes at rest she'll be 120, just laying there doing nothing.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And yesterday she was up high.
So how's our heart rate now?
It was 102, but it jumped up to 106.
Okay. So let's back the device down 2 notches. Do you see how you play with this page?
Yes.
If you can let her vitals kind of be the, I'll bet you anything that when she kicks into a cycle, she's got her heart rate up around 130, 140 when she kicks into those seizure type clonus attacks. And the other thing that'll be interesting here is just to note, she started to have a little bit of brain fog or confusion when it was starting to be a little bit too much. Did you notice that? She was having a hard time pulling up her words.
She has been like that all morning and all day. And it's been a couple weeks now, Cindy, hasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of sleeping.
Lot of sleeping.
Gotcha.
Lots of sleeping.
Gotcha.
And this is a very active, very leadership role oriented
Young lady.
30-year-old. Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
31. She's 31.
Excellent. Excellent age to help the world. So how's her heart rate looking now?
It's about 105.
Okay. So you might just need to back down to the lowest level, and that may be her starting point. You may have to do several days of just at the starting point.
Okay.
For 4 or 5 minutes, take it off, see how she does. But that's your guide right there. Anything that pushes her, way up into the stress zone will slow down her ability to help in the healing process.
Okay.
Now,
So go ahead.
I probably wouldn't do much more than either use it at the feet or at the hands for a week or so while her nervous system is calibrating with it.
Okay. And you said 48 hours to process.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it takes
do this for a week.
Yeah, if you can do that for, if you can do that repeatedly throughout a week, it just helps get the brain to start cycling a little bit better and a little bit better. When you go ahead and take it off, now it's been on for probably close to 5 minutes here. Go ahead and turn it off.
Okay.
And just watch the heart rate and see what that does now. You probably will see it drop back down after you're done with this.
She's about at 101.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it just jumped. It just immediately went back up to 115.
It's because she's all excited, but just give it a few seconds here.
Okay.
See, your heart and nervous system doesn't really know what to do with all of this information because it feels a little different to it.
She's down to 95.
Excellent. You should feel very calm right now.
She is very chillax, is what I like to call it.
Relax.
I was starting to feel like seizures in the back of my head. Sometimes I can feel them coming on, and sometimes I can't.
So what that's telling you is, you know, as we started playing with going higher and it started raising your heart rate up there, it started putting a little bit of stress on the system. Again, a little stress on the system is not a problem, but you run a very fine line between a little bit of stress and whoop, we just threw you off the cliff.
Yes.
So we have to be very gentle in driving up the road with someone like you.
So very, very slow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 1 to 2 times a day, or just one.
1 to 2 times a day, up to 3 times a day at most.
Okay.
Just so that you're letting her nervous system start getting used to these cycles and these energies.
Okay. When you talked about the hands, are you feeling okay? When you talked about the hands, would she just hold it or would I scrape her hands?
I would just start with holding. When she's got to be at such a low level, it might be a little bit more than she can tolerate even to do the scraping. You know, Lyme's and a few other conditions associated with that, like POTS, it's super easy to upset the balance in their central nervous system.
Okay.
So I can do a lot of scraping on the normal individual. I can do a lot of therapies. I have to be extremely gentle with someone with POTS. And
Okay. She just was diagnosed with it like a couple months ago.
But that means that it's probably been happening for a long, long time. Just didn't know it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that's how we progress somebody that's dealing with POTS and that's dealing with the Lymes and those issues. And fibromyalgia and a lot of those others oftentimes will do the same thing. It's also reflex sympathetic dystrophy is very similar. Trigeminal neuralgia is very similar. So a lot of these conditions, we just have to start very far away from the head.
Okay.
And get the nervous system to start taking these messages upstairs before we can start making a lot of changes up there.
Okay.
One of the neatest things about this is that you will do extremely well. It's just that you have to be very slow in getting there. This makes a great energy management tool for someone that has Lyme, someone that has the POTS. But you just can't over attack the system or it will shut down and it will say you're part of the bad stuff and not respond very well to it.
Yes, we want it to respond parasympathetically, not sympathetically. Because we're already sympathetic. We're already just hanging on. So.
But you did really good with that. How's that heart rate looking now?
It is. I went back up to 100.
She went back up to 100, but
it got down to 93.
She was down in the 90s.
Yeah, that's telling you that heart and everything has a lot less pressures on it and better healing can take place. Now, your brain and your nervous system is going to fluctuate up and down with that for a while. That's why I say it may take a week of doing just these bare minimum things before you can start progressing faster.
Okay. We'll do it for a week. See how she responds and how she does.
Be seizure free for a week.
Maybe. But this is her time of day that she start at nighttime when she really starts having her seizures and that they have to medicate her. So hopefully that will help her for tonight.
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing how this does over time. And thank you for bringing me in to be of assistance here. And hopefully the things that we talked about will help keep Dylan on track.
We will check in with you next week.
That sounds great. And
With Victoria as well.
I will post this video for you, but I think there are a lot of people that would be interested in seeing and watching what we just did in this little session. And if you guys do feel like it's okay to share, I
Please
think
do.
I'll do that. I'll make it public and send you a link to it.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Glad to see the progress. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.